Today's the day we flush it all away. So I want to say something, and like, I don't even know how to label this. Do you ever experience things in reality lately, or even you look back on when you're a kid or in high school, and it's like I don't know how to label that. People do not have labels, and it's like you try to explain it to someone, and it's like they can't clearly see the end of it. They clearly can't tell what you're talking about, and it's like it gets frustrating. You get misunderstood, and it's like, no, that's not what I was talking about. Well, this is kind of one of those ideas. I'm going to try to explain it as best I can, and so it's like you and I. So when you think about you and I, like a relationship. So it's like divine masculine, divine feminine coming together. And it's like a you, which is the feminine, the curved, and then the I, which is the straight line, right? And you can look at this like the feminine is like the grounded, like the earth. And so it's like the bottom of this, and then like the bottom, like the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, right? The bottom. And then the eye, which then has the dot on top. So that's the straight energy channel. And then the I, the all-seeing eye, the collective eye, the third eye, the mind's eye, the single eye of the heart. And in sacred geometry, the masculine is the straight line, and the feminine, right, is the, let me see, find a spot to put my phone. So it's like, you ever see pictures of deities, or can't think of any specific deity, but like in Hinduism and in Buddhism, it's like you see this, right? That's the you and I. That's the you and the I, where this is feminine, right? Coming up and up the straight energy channel, right? The you and I, where it's the marriage, the Kundalini, you could call it, which is the twin flame energy, which is what that is, which is the first ray is, the first chakra, the Muladhara chakra, as far as my understanding, where it's the marriage of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, in like there I really do believe, I really do feel inside as the truth that there is this shift that is going, where people are going through this Kundalini awakening, but it's paired at the same time with their external counterpart, right? Their external pre-planned, or like flowing together now ever since this process began, with their physical complement to their frequency, or their same frequency just in another body. I guess it's kind of like a lot of people put this theory behind this twin flame. I didn't really want to talk so much about twin flame, but it's like there's so many misunderstandings of what twin flame is, and it's like this really divine sacred thing where it has to do with this awakening, like Kundalini awakening, and I really do believe at the same time, ever since I started going through this, now that I look back, I can't really think of anything in high school, but after I graduated high school, it's like I had this moment where like I thought I was dyslexic, and I was dyslexic. It was like I mixed numbers up, so like instead of 67, it would be like 76. It was like, but I understood like what it was like to be dyslexic, and then it was like, oh, when I was 19 years old, I was like kind of going through that, and it was like I was going through a really hard, heavy time in my life where I was on a lot of medications and being misunderstood, and at the same time going through this awakening. And I had kind of sought out medications because of this. I was going through this awakening, And I thought there was something wrong with me because I was told there was, but then deep inside it was like, oh no, this is divine, and I knew this all along. And then it's like I had to slowly slough off that stuff and the conditionings that people projected on me. And it was like, but deep in my core, like I knew this, and I think everyone does, but it was like my fire was just kind of burning a little bit stronger, that where I allowed myself to go deeper into and take on more of other people's conditionings, to then finally get to a point where I exploded off of my energy field, to explode it out or transmute it into something new for the collective. So that's kind of my journey, where I feel like towards the end of 2014, around Christmas or the beginning of 2015, it's like I went through this experience where it was like I was flying through this golden light tunnel, and I understood what this tunnel was. You know, people talk about this DMT trip where people either smoke it or drink the ayahuasca, but it was like I was sober. I didn't take DMT, but I believe that I had a natural release of it because it's like a natural neurotransmitter or hormone. And it's like people explain that they go through this tunnel of this portal, but what I think it really is it's consciously moving from your pineal gland into your heart. And so I think that's what I did when I flew through this tunnel, is like I was moving into my heart, and it was like what they call the rabbit hole, right? Or like you look at the Matrix where he takes the red pill or the blue pill. Like in Tibetan mysticism, like red is masculine and blue is feminine. So it's like the left hand and the right hand, right? But he takes one of the pills that makes him go through this tunnel. If you watch the movie, he goes through this tunnel, and then it's like he's born again. It's like he's born again into reality, into the real world, where he was living in this delusion up here, which in Tibet or Tibetan Buddhism, they call it samsara, where it's just this delusion of you're just all up in your mind, but reality is actually in your heart. And in the Matrix, Neo goes through that rabbit hole, and he goes into the heart. And he goes into reality, and it's like he wakes up. It's like he's a baby again, and it's like he comes out of the womb, but he's like an adult, which is like what happened to me in the process I went through, 2015. And it's like, now that I look back, I had really liberating dreams. Like I was flying, like I was on top of Mount Everest, and like there's this girl on top of that I believe was my twin flame, like drawing rainbows on a chalkboard and like teaching me, maybe it was just like coupled of everything together, compacted into one simple symbolic message, but each of those symbols meant so many different things, and I kept seeing on my external world, and it's like guiding me to multiple places, and just series of dreams all about healing, and then about receiving messages and interpreting it, and just all connected together to like it, like to happen really fast. And it was like really hard to understand, but it's like it had such a passion of this Kundalini or this twin flame burning through me. And I really do believe people that are going through this awakening right now are meant to have a divine partnership that is like legitimate and real, like not any of that fake stuff that's in the brain anymore. And I really do believe a lot of people went through awakenings where they moved in the heart, but it wasn't appropriate at the time for them, for this type of real relationship to come forth. And maybe there was some people, but now is that time where a lot of people, or the first wave of ascension, I guess 1/3 of the world is going through this, where there's going to be this real reality relationship. And what I mean about reality is not being in the brain, but consciously aligning with your heart. And then what happens is you can look at it in the sacred geometry, where you have the Luciferian pattern, which is like this oval, which is like the divine feminine, divine masculine, and it's like the 6-pointed star that you'd see in the flower of life. But in the flower of life, it's this perfect circle, it's a perfect sphere, and it's one. But the Luciferian is like two flowers, so it's like, and it's flat on top, flat on the bottom. That's the wheel of karma, and the flower of life is the wheel of dharma. And so this awakening, it's like the divine masculine, divine feminine energies within ourselves are like merging together into the central channel. And so that's what this Kundalini awakening and process is been like for me in coming to a completion at the end of this year, or right now, is like coupling together, especially December 25th, I guess, because that is the solstice. And so that is really the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. But I hope that makes sense. It's Google Luciferian pin. I mean, think about how if there was a wheel that was like an oval and then was flat on top, flat on bottom, it wouldn't roll very well, and it's bumpy. It's like, right? It's like that's how reality has been. But then the wheel of Dharma, it is a perfect circle. It's a perfect wheel, and it rolls. Things go smoothly. But we go through those rapids where we have ovals as tires to like break stuff up out of us, to like learn and to grow. I really do believe that's why humanity has gone through this process where we've been going through the wheel of karma to like rearrange us on so many levels, and then we come back into alignment. And it was like this process was to learn and to grow and to expand into, it was like we became unconscious through it, this process of like 13,000 years as a collective, to otherwise we wouldn't have done and created the things we had to learn and to grow, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna end this video, try to keep them short, and yeah, forever here. Thanks for being here. Oh, Mani Padme Hum.